Tonight on CTV News, tough talk from Vancouver Mayor Ken Sim.
And so this is the province's last chance to do what they should be doing.
Why the mayor is threatening unprecedented action and pushing for more involuntary care beds for the mentally ill. But what does he mean by that?
We found out that our site had been burnt to the ground.
Path of destruction. More structures are lost in BC's most dangerous wildfires. Hundreds in the Fraser Canyon wondering if their properties are safe.
I have lost complete faith in the way the system's run.
A mother's anguish and anger after the coroner's inquest into Tatiana Harrison's death. Why she says questions remain unanswered.
This is CTV News with me, Jung Lee.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Vancouver's mayor is threatening the province tonight, warning that if senior government doesn't give his city what he wants, he's going to take action. That action remains a mystery despite repeated questions. And the reason Ken Sim is making those demands raises questions about his accuracy. Our Penny Daflos is here. And Penny, this all revolves around involuntary treatment for those with addiction or mental health issues.
That's right, Mijang. Vancouver Mayor Ken Sim is angry that Northern BC and Surrey are getting some new involuntary treatment spaces, and his city hasn't had any new facilities in some time. He's making dire and unspecified warnings if he doesn't see the same come to Vancouver. When you say that you're prepared to act in unprecedented ways and consider every option available, it seems like you have something in mind. Like what's on the table here?
Well, I think the first thing is, I'm sure the Premier and everyone in Victoria is watching this, or they will see a clip of this. Our call to them is to do their job. How come we don't have a single bed? And so this is the province's last chance to do what they should be doing. And they're going to have to hold themselves accountable to the voters of Vancouver, and in fact, the whole province for that matter. And if we don't get action from the province, more to come. But we'll give them this one last opportunity to listen to what we have to say and act accordingly.
Now, to be clear, 1/4 of all involuntary care beds in this province are in the Vancouver Coastal Health Region. And while it is true that Vancouver's downtown east side has significant problems, street homelessness alone is not a reason to lock someone up against their will. Many hospitals in the region, including in Vancouver, have psychiatric wards with those beds, with 70 locations in total in our province. What does it matter whether the bed is in the city of Vancouver or not when they're still getting that treatment?
I think it's a sign of something bigger. Okay, like when you have beds that are being opened throughout this province of ours, and we are ground zero, it just doesn't make sense. There's a massive disconnect here. It's not even close.
But do you genuinely believe that even though the beds aren't here, that people aren't getting treated just because the beds aren't in the city of Vancouver? Like, do you really believe that?
If you can go throughout the city, but I would just say go down to the downtown east side and form your opinion right now. The people that are suffering in the downtown east side aren't getting help in Prince George. I can tell you that much.
The best analogy that I can give here is a hospital. If you show up at Surrey Memorial, they're not turning you away if you can't prove that you live in Surrey. It's really the same thing with involuntary care. It doesn't matter where someone's apprehended, they will find space, typically within the same health authority. And one final note. At its peak, Riverview Psychiatric Hospital had about 5,000 beds. Right now, 20,000 British Columbians are involuntarily detained due to mental disorders every single year, Mijang.
That really puts things in perspective. Okay, thank you, Penny.
You bet.
Police in Vancouver are asking the public to help identify a suspect wanted in connection with an unprovoked assault. A man was reportedly waiting at a bus stop near Southwest Marine Drive and Ash Street on July 7th when police say he was approached from behind, pushed to the ground, and had his headphones ripped off. The suspect then allegedly hit the victim several times with a skateboard. The victim sustained minor injuries. Anyone who recognizes this man or witnessed the alleged assault is asked to contact the VPD. A former VPD volunteer accused in a series of stranger assaults has been charged again. Police allege David Gaeta was walking on Commercial Drive on June 28th when he shoulder-checked a stranger, causing him to lose his balance. The victim came forward after seeing a police appeal for more information about a similar assault in the area. Gaeta remains in custody and now faces charges in 7 alleged assaults dating back to January 2025. BC nurses are pressing pause on their pickets as mediated talks will begin tomorrow. CTV's Lauren Pullen is following this in the Breaking News Center. Lauren?
Mijung, the BC Nurses Union is calling this a demonstration of good faith, with mediation slated to start tomorrow, as you mentioned. Picketing outside hospitals began last week in Vancouver. Earlier today, members escalated their job action to Nanaimo after they started picketing in Victoria on Sunday. And while those picket lines are now coming down, the BCNU is standing firm against alleged workplace bullying members say is due to job action.
We are taking down the lines to demonstrate our commitment to this process and our resolve to get a collective agreement. What we will not tolerate is further intimidation and retaliation of our members. This is being carried out in all health authorities. In fact, over 3,700 formal complaints have been received.
Mijung, job action is not completely stopping during mediation. The BCNU says nurses will still refuse non-nursing duties, and the union is not ruling out re-escalating picketing if the BCNU deems it necessary. Now, we have reached out to the health employer this afternoon, but we have yet to hear back. Meech?
Thanks for this update, Lauren. The Park Board has been a hot-button issue for Vancouver's ruling ABC party for years, but now Mayor Ken Sim is giving up the battle, saying they won't get rid of it after all. CTV's Yasmin Gandam joins us live from Kitts Pool with the latest on this about-face. Yasmin?
Well, Mijung, along with this commitment, Mayor Ken Sim is also pushing for the remaining COVID-era reservation system to come to an end. He says that limits access to the Kitts Pool, and you can see behind me on a warm, sunny day like today how busy this pool is. Take a listen here to what he had to say.
Vancouverites are subjected to outdated restrictions that no longer make any sense. To go swimming in the pool today, you have to make a reservation.
We have hundreds and hundreds of people that walk in, and it ends up 2/3 of people here are walk-ins, and 1/3 of the people ultimately book online.
Questions from media, please.
Apologize. Yasmin's got some audio difficulties there, so apologize for those technical problems. Thanks, Yasmin. Well, the hot, dry weather expected across much of BC this week is likely to challenge firefighters already battling several large wildfires. One of the hardest hit communities is Blue Lake Resort, north of Boston Bar, where families are now learning the extent of the damage. CTV's Craig Krause reports.
As crews continue to fight the wildfires burning north of Boston Bar, families at Blue Lake Resort are grappling with what they've lost.
There was an evacuation order put in for everyone to leave the campgrounds and the area. And then Wednesday, we found out that our site had been burnt to the ground.
Unable to return, many have been watching the fire move through the resort on surveillance cameras. In some cases, structures just meters apart had very different outcomes. One destroyed, the other still standing. While some sites are open to the public, about 40 families lease their lots year after year, turning the resort into something more than just a summer destination.
This place is like when you watch a Hallmark small town America movie. This is what it is, right? Where, you know, like the community raises a child, and your parents' friends become your aunties and uncles.
Although some relief over the weekend, the BC Wildfire Service says the major wildfires in the area have now burned more than 180 square kilometers, and it could get worse.
We're not seeing those very, very strong sustained winds, but we do have warming and drying and some gustiness in the forecast. So again, we can expect to see fire behavior and activity increase over the next several days.
But it's not just the fire crews are having to battle. Personal drones are getting in the way. The BC Wildfire Service says air tanker and helicopter activity was temporarily suspended, putting both responders and the public at greater risk.
When you are convicted of flying a drone in an active wildfire area, and you could receive a very large fine or jail time. So please stay away from our operations with drones.
And now with Highway 1 open in that area, fire officials are urging drivers to follow the speed limit and to not pull over to the side of the road to film the fire zone. In the meantime, families are watching on, hoping that the flames can be tamed before more damage is done. Craig Crowe, CTV News.
BC has faced some of its worst wildfire seasons on record in recent years, placing extra demand on a provincial program that helps people protect their homes from wildfire risks. But questions are growing about the future of FireSmart BC as local leaders call for more funding to keep it afloat. CTV's Rob Buffum reports.
Langford's fire chief Chris Aubry says a little fire prevention goes a long way.
I think at this point, almost every home could use some extra, education.
Langford relies on the province's FireSmart program, funding for education and help with protecting homes from wildfires, through steps like removing brush near houses and keeping eave troughs clean. But the program has come under fire due to uncertainty about future funding.
This year, we unfortunately had more applications than dollars aside, and so that's why I'm working with my colleague, the Minister of Finance, to be able to do a full and comprehensive review of this program.
The province has provided $175 million to FireSmart since 2018. But due to escalating demand, the funds are drying up. The NDP converted the program to a yearly one and introduced a competitive system based on need going forward.
It's very concerning to us that we make sure that this continues to be as it is and it doesn't get hacked up.
West Kelowna is a community all too familiar with wildfires. Last month, the fire caused about 300 properties to be evacuated. Its fire chief says the FireSmart program already saved homes this summer.
When we spend all of our money fighting the fires, we're spending it on the wrong end of the problem.
Meanwhile, this team of 30 goats is chomping grass in Merritt, part of the program.
They're really good at this. They come in, they do their business. We also get fertilizer. How good is this, right? So, it's a win-win situation.
The town has enough funding through August, but after that, its mayor says he's worried, especially given how vulnerable the community is to wildfires, like the Boston Bar blaze or the Ainsley Creek one burning perilously nearby.
Any community in BC that has forest around it needs to have FireSmart.
A decision about next year's funding is expected in the coming weeks, just as BC approaches the heart of wildfire season.
Rob joins us live now from Victoria. And Rob, what other preventative measures are fire chiefs pushing for?
Well, Mijung, for those of us who don't have a spare goat in our backyard to chomp up some of that vegetation as fuel, there are some pretty basic things people can do. They recommend making sure, for example, you don't have chopped up wood too close to your house. If you do have brush close to your house, remove that. Make sure you don't have things like needles in your eave trough so that a flying ember could ignite that. The Merritt mayor told me actually up there, plant stores, because it's so dry, do not sell ferns, which are a more combustible type of plant. So there are some basic things you can do to make sure your house is a little safer. Mijung.
Rob Buffum reporting live tonight from Victoria. In New Westminster, residents had to be rescued from balconies as a destructive fire swept through an apartment building that spread to a building next door on Friday. All of the residents of both buildings are accounted for after the blaze, but an estimated 150 residents have been displaced. More than 4 years after her daughter's death, the mother of a 20-year-old Indigenous woman says she is still waiting for answers. Now, after a coroner's inquest examined the handling of the case, she's calling for accountability and a review of the investigation. CTV's Kevin Chirac reports.
I have lost complete faith in the way the system's run.
Raw emotion from Natasha Harrison, speaking to media following the coroner's inquest into the May 2022 death of her daughter Tatiana, who was found dead, naked from the waist down on a derelict boat in Richmond.
We have no new clarity about how Tatiana got to the boat, who she was with, what was going on in the days and weeks leading up to her death, including the 4 days that she did not pick up her social assistance check.
The 20-year-old Indigenous woman spent years in ministry care, had a history of mental illness and drug use, and disappeared from the downtown east side before her death. The coroner initially ruled her death was caused by fentanyl toxicity before changing the cause to sepsis. Criminality was ruled out by police. Her family believes bias and assumptions shaped the investigation from the start.
You're painting her with a brush so that you can fail her. That's what it felt like.
The family says a sexual assault kit they had pushed for was eventually administered 6 months after Tatiana's body was found, but the samples were never tested.
We learned that the RCMP has never tested or compared those samples.
CTV News asked Richmond RCMP about the family's claim that a sexual assault kit was never tested. RCMP did not answer the question, saying only it will review the inquest recommendations.
I want proof that my daughter wasn't trafficked. I want proof that she wasn't murdered. That's it. That's all I've asked for. That's all I stood by.
Unsatisfied with what they say are still too many unanswered questions, the family and their advocates are now calling for a government review.
Calling on the Minister of Public Safety and Solicitor General to direct a review into the missteps and failures by all agencies involved in the death investigation about what happened to Tatiana Harrison.
The province's Solicitor General told CTV News they're awaiting the full coroner's inquest report, adding the ministry will review all the findings and evidence and determine its next steps. The inquest jury classified Harrison's death as undetermined and issued 8 non-binding recommendations, including calls for improved training in missing persons cases and the use of Indigenous liaison officers within missing persons units. For Natasha Harrison, the fight for answers is far from over.
I'd fight for her until I can't fight anymore. I always have, and I always will.
Kevin Chirac, CTV News, Vancouver.
It is 6:16. Let's take a look outside. A live shot of Canada Place on this gorgeous evening. Stephanie Florian's here. I think the colors we're wearing say that says it all, right?
Blue sky and
blue
sunshine.
sky.
There you go.
Right
That's
there.
all you need. One of my favorite lines. The sky was yellow and the sun was blue. How about that? Okay, so yeah, we are holding on to the heat this evening. We've been very seasonal for much of the summer so far, but that is about to change. We're really going to see a spike in temperatures. Taking a look outside right now at our currents, especially for around the lower mainland, you can see it's quite warm, but by tomorrow we'll be really up in those upper 20s, especially out towards the Fraser Valley. And looking at the rest of the province here, it is very warm right now through the interior region, and we'll continue to see that heat even to the north. So I'll show you your full forecast coming up for the next 24 hours. Here's what you need to know. A few clouds tonight, sunset tonight at 9:15. We'll hit 23 degrees by the water tomorrow, but inland at 28 degrees, feeling closer to 31, and your full 7-day coming right up.
That is a very toasty forecast.
Potential of a few showers, hoping for at least.
Yeah, we need that. All right, thanks, Stephanie. Well, an update now to a story we first brought you last week about how some residents of North Burnaby are fed up with noise from YVR-bound aircraft flying above their neighborhood.
Basically, they come from the west and fly right overhead.
CTV News spoke with residents and the mayor of Burnaby last week about how NAV Canada recently made changes to the YVR flight path. The mayor now says NAV Canada has committed to conducting an independent review of its Vancouver airspace modernization project. The review will be done by a third party starting this fall. A rare sight in northern Vancouver Island of a type of dolphin usually found in California waters, also ahead.
They're hungry and they haven't really learned to set boundaries.
Bear season in full swing. One golfer is missing their clubs thanks to this curious animal. When CTV News at 6 continues, also ahead, a terrifying shooting at a popular Toronto festival. 2 people are killed. The police chief now calling for tougher laws against public gun violence. When CTV News continues. Stay with us. Some terrifying video out of Yellowstone National Park. A grandfather was attacked by a bison after he got rather close in an attempt to take a picture. The giant animal was already sniffing around some other campsites. A photographer captured the harrowing moment. The man was tossed into the air. He was taken to hospital where he underwent surgery and is expected to make a full recovery. It's that time of year that black bear sightings are on the rise once again. While some of the encounters seem innocent and even humorous, there are also close calls that remind us that they are wild animals that require caution. Our Penny Daflos reports.
The sight of a black bear snagging a fancy set of clubs to maybe improve his game in Pitt Meadows is pretty funny. But seeing one snuffling around for something to eat around your North Vancouver home is nothing to laugh about.
I don't think that we're having a particularly busy year. It is a busy time of year for sure.
In Port Coquitlam, moments after Dad walked in the garage, this preschooler found himself a few meters from a cub before his dad pulled him into safety.
June and July are the time of year when the yearlings, the ones that are 1.5 years old, are dispersed by their mums. So they're sent off into the world to be bears on their own. And these are young bears that can be curious and not have a lot of life experience.
While it feels like there's more of them than usual, provincial officials believe it's the social media effect since we all have video recorders in our pockets. Penny Daflos, CTV News, Vancouver.
A species of dolphin rarely seen north of California has been spotted in the waters off Vancouver Island. Researchers were shocked by this video of a long-beaked common dolphin splashing around Esperanza Inlet near Zabalos. After sharing the video online, the Marine Education and Research Society says it learned of even more sightings around northeast Vancouver Island.
There are sightings coming in from 2025 and prior, where wonderfully, the power of citizen science is that people are then going, oh, I didn't realize this was not a common sighting.
She says this new information about dolphin sightings proves why citizen science is so valuable. And because this is an El Nino year, warmer ocean waters could bring more unique visitors to BC's south coast. Fallout from a deadly shooting at a popular Toronto street festival on the weekend. The brazen violence reigniting the debate on gun laws. Also ahead. Why this car was stuck on the train tracks near Mission. A wake-up call for 2 teens who got out of the car just in time. That's ahead. It was a close call for 2 teens near Mission who were able to jump out of their car just moments before it was hit by a train. Police say the car got stuck on the tracks at Lougheed Highway and North Desroches Road yesterday afternoon after it crashed into a train signal pole. The 18-year-old driver and her passenger both walked away without any injuries. The Transportation Safety Board has been called in to investigate a train derailment that sent 13 rail cars into a large body of water in Calgary this morning. CPKC says that 13 rail cars containing propane, lumber, plywood, and argon fell into the water. Investigators say there have been no leaks or spills from the derailed cars, but Calgary Fire has a hazmat crew on standby, and CPKC has launched its own emergency response team. The city says it's too early to say whether there will be any environmental concerns to the area. The fatal shooting at a street festival in Toronto over the weekend has raised new concerns about crowd control while renewing the national debate over illegal firearms. CTV's Judy Trinh has more on the calls for urgent federal gun reforms.
Gunfire at a Toronto salsa festival, sending crowds running for cover. 2 people shot dead. 5 others injured. The mayor of Canada's biggest city is vowing the summer tradition will continue.
We will not let reckless criminals stop Toronto's tradition of outdoor street festivals.
There were an estimated 13,000 people at the festival, including families with children. For people to continue attending these events, analysts say the public could demand a bigger police presence.
We can expect that there will be more tolerance for the police to use more of the techniques that private security uses in private venues, like things like using metal detectors or increased use of CCTV cameras and whatnot.
The Conservatives are blaming the brazen gun violence on the Liberal government and years of lax sentencing.
If you're a violent repeat offender, especially a gun offender, you should be removed from society for a very long time. And that will create the deterrence necessary to prevent gun violence.
Under pressure, the Liberals have made more than 80 changes to the criminal code to tighten bail and sentencing for repeat offenders.
Gang violence, tougher sentencing in around that. We really have tightened up the criminal code. We just got that through Parliament and has been signed off.
Toronto's police chief wants a new law to protect from guns being fired in public spaces.
When someone is shot and killed in a congregate setting, whether it's a stray bullet or because someone started a fight and pulled a gun, such offenses should be classified as first-degree murder.
Toronto's mayor is also calling for more cooperation between Canadian and American law enforcement to ensure that guns are not being smuggled into Canada. Statistics show that nearly half of all guns seized by police in Canada are from the U.S. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
One of the stars of Jurassic Park has died after a battle with cancer. Also ahead.
Not just a lot of tornadoes, but strong tornadoes as well.
Strong enough to rip off the roof of a house. The wild weather that has been hitting the prairies this summer. When CTV News at 6 continues.
Time now for tonight's Skywatch, cruising up Burrard Street towards the Fairmont Hotel Vancouver under a spectacular clear blue sky downtown.
CTV Skywatch is brought to you by Kermac Collision and Autoglass, the name you'll remember when it matters. Kermac cares for kids.
Alberta is in the thick of its tornado season. Halfway through, the province has already seen the most tornadoes on record in at least a decade. CTV's Miriam Valdez-Carletti explains what's driving the intense twister activity.
The ferocity of a tornado is something to behold, a thrill Jason Whiting wanted to experience in person over the weekend.
Tornadoes such a phenomenon. You don't see them very often. Never know what you might find. So I headed out and went up the road to see what I could find.
He found this tornado by Tullabee Lake on Saturday and captured the whirling moment.
Seeing it from that perspective was kind of pretty unique and really lucky to see that.
As we get deeper into the summer, we're also right in the middle of tornado season in Alberta.
The season is June, July, August for the most part in the prairies, with a peak in July. So tornadoes are kind of a regular occurrence.
The Northern Tornado Project says we're seeing more activity than usual. Alberta has seen 24 tornadoes so far this year, blowing away the totals for the last 7 years. One of the biggest factors is the heavy rain we've been seeing since June.
The weather patterns seem to be stuck in place. We keep getting the storms developing again and again over various parts of the prairies. And some of these are really high-end storm environments.
It's been just astonishing to see those weather patterns set up over and over again.
Environment Canada says that's giving the right ingredients for the perfect storm.
You need lots of moisture, heat. You need some lifting mechanism, so some cold front or a trough coming through. You also need some changing winds with height.
Tornadoes can be dangerous, no matter the size. Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
And Stephanie's here. We could use some of that moisture and rain, not the wind tornado part, but we definitely could use some of the rain they're seeing.
We've been a lot luckier than Alberta. It's been quite the roller coaster ride there this summer. So it's been very, very comfortable, seasonal so far for us as far as temperatures and what we've been experiencing. But we are going to start to see some of the heat really take off, as well as our temperatures soar well above seasonal as we head into the next several days. So changes in the air. Here's a look at the hot spot. It was a tie between Osoyoos and Creston at 32.4 degrees. Really seeing the interior region warm up right now, and by the weekend it'll be scorching. So that's our dry zone, as you can see here on the current fire and danger rating. So we'll be monitoring this, but do do take caution, do your part outside. Everybody camping and enjoying the outdoors, but we are heading into some serious heat and dry conditions. So 26 degrees, mostly sunny skies. Northern sections of the island, a little bit more cloud cover mix there for Port Alberni, hitting 29. Victoria 24, Gulf Islands 23, blue sky and sunshine. We'll see some more cloud cover, just a few clouds in and out for the entire Sunshine Coast and Sea to Sky corridor. So up to 28 degrees for the Fraser Valley. That is going to feel closer to 31. That UV is on even for us here around the Lower Mainland. It's going to feel like 28, even though by the water 23. So a little bit windy tonight, a little bit of a nice breeze. Those winds will calm down through the overnight. And then our best chance of seeing those showers is Thursday, late day into the evening and early Friday morning. We could see some passing showers. Hopefully we'll get them because as you can see, these temperatures really spike as we head into a little bit later into that 7-day.
Yeah, well, it's probably not enough rain that
not
we
at
could,
all.
But we'll get something, right?
Province is very dry, high pressure is dominating. So, yeah, take caution out there.
Yeah, we'll see what happens on Thursday then.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Stephanie. Well, Sam Neill, the New Zealand actor, best known for his role in the Steven Spielberg classic Jurassic Park, has died at 78 years old. His death comes just months after he announced he was blood cancer free following years of treatment. NBC's Kaylee Hartung has more on his life and legacy.
Ellie Sattler.
Alan Grant. For millions of film lovers, Sam Neill was Dr. Alan Grant.
Don't move. Can't see us if we don't move.
The reluctant hero who brought heart, humor, and humanity to Steven Spielberg's Jurassic Park.
They're moving in herds.
The global blockbuster made him an international star, cementing his place in cinematic history.
Don't move.
But the 78-year-old's career stretched far beyond dinosaurs.
I'm going on board her.
From the thriller Dead Calm.
Can you hear me?
To Oscar-winning film The Piano. The actor, born in Northern Ireland and raised in New Zealand, built a remarkable career spanning more than 5 decades, becoming one of the most recognizable and respected actors of his generation. More recently, appearing on Netflix acclaimed series Peaky Blinders.
Just wanted to show me that you know where I live, isn't that it?
Cillian Murphy praised his work in an interview earlier this year.
I adored working with Sam Neill in Series 1. He's one of my favorite people in the world.
And even in his 70s, Neill showed no interest in slowing down, joking about retirement on Today 2 years ago.
I never want to retire because I love my work so much. What do you do in retirement? You play golf.
And just last month, sharing a post at Australia's ARIA Hall of Fame. His family announcing the news of his sudden and unexpected passing. In a statement writing, Sam was surrounded by family and passed with the dignity that has characterized his whole life. In recent years, Neill opened up about his battle with blood cancer, sharing earlier this year that he was cancer-free, telling Australia's Channel 7 in a recent interview,
There is no cancer in my body. This is an extraordinary thing.
The beloved actor's death shocking fans around the world, leaving behind a legacy of memorable performances that will continue to captivate audiences for generations to come.
2 epic World Cup matches this week. All the teams in the semifinals have been champions before. Also ahead.
I'd be very frustrated and very disappointed that this has happened to us.
A warning, if you have adult children living in your home, what can happen if they're not listed on your car insurance? Ahead on CTV News at 6. Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar was up just slightly, still trading under 71 cents U.S. Oil up almost $7, trading for around $78 a barrel. Gold saw a $108 drop. On the stock market, the TSX down 52 points. The Dow Jones lost 138 points. The province is expanding the BC timber sales program to supply fiber to custom wood manufacturers that rely on partner mills to make their products.
By expanding the value-added manufacturing program today, we're helping to grow the sector by getting more fiber into the hands of people who are ready to unlock the full value of every log we harvest through products like mass timber, plywood, veneer, paneling, flooring, windows and doors, and so much more.
A new category of the program will support nearly 40 custom cutter and processor businesses that produce everything from specialty lumber products to windows and doors. The province says the growing sector directly employs about 250 people, while indirectly supporting hundreds of additional jobs. Alberta is officially open for business when it comes to regulated online gambling. Previously, players were using the province's Play Alberta platform or bet through offshore websites that operated without Alberta regulation. The province says this new regulated model will have consumer protections, responsible gaming requirements, and age verification. Meanwhile, a psychologist told CTV News that opening the market increases the risk of engagement.
I think the red flags will continue if there's not additional efforts put towards prevention and minimization of use.
The province predicts it will collect about $76 million in its first year under the system. Alberta is the second province to officially open the doors to private online gambling operators, behind Ontario. According to Statistics Canada, more than 7 million people live in households composed of parents and their adult children. If someone who lives with you is a licensed driver, it's important that they are also listed on your auto insurance policy. CTV's Pat Foran explains.
I feel very frustrated and very disappointed that this has happened to us.
Vivi and Mohammed Mirza of Markham say their son Adam moved in with them last year. It was supposed to be temporary. Adam borrowed his parents' car to go to a medical appointment and unfortunately was involved in a serious car accident. The claim was denied because their son wasn't listed on their policy.
We agreed that we then declared our son moved in here. He was living in Ajax when we bought the car.
The Mirzas appealed the decision, but their insurance company, Wawanesa, told them, you failed to disclose to your broker or Wawanesa that Adam operates the vehicle with your permission and lives in your household. As such, your right to recovery is forfeited and your claim is denied. The Mirzas say they still have a loan for the 2019 Mitsubishi and still owe $26,000. Now they're paying for a car they no longer have.
What is wrong in allowing your child to use your car for just a doctor's visit?
Anyone who is a regular and frequent operator of your vehicle should be listed on your policy.
The Insurance Bureau of Canada says all licensed drivers in a household should be included on your insurance policy.
When there's a significant change, even though you may think my son's moving back home, it's not a significant change. From an insurance company's perspective, it could be a significant change.
The Mirzas are devastated. They're making monthly payments on a car they no longer have and feel they should have received at least partial payment for their written-off vehicle.
We seem to be losing money constantly. We are dishing out, and we're left with the liability of a car loan and no settlement from an insurance company.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Just ahead, it's the gift for the person who has everything. One of the biggest and most complete T-Rex fossils ever found is up for auction. And as you might expect, it's going to cost the buyer millions of bones. Plus, Jason's flights. Adam finds out how a North Saanich man ended up spending his retirement realizing a childhood dream up in the sky. I'm the Sawatsky sign off. Right now, here's a preview of your morning, Vancouver.
Well, we know wildfire season comes every year, but are we as prepared as we should be? Tuesday on Your Morning Vancouver, what to expect during a wildfire emergency and the gaps British Columbians have in evacuation readiness. And a closer look at the potential danger of eating rice, the new research into inorganic arsenic, and the ways you can reduce your risk. We'll see you in the morning.
The World Cup is coming to an end in spectacular fashion this week. 4 previous champions, who are also the top-ranked teams, make up a semi-final lineup for the ages. France France has arrived in Arlington, Texas, where they'll square off against Spain tomorrow in the first semifinal. Then on Wednesday, defending champion Argentina faces England in Atlanta. The last time the Final Four was made up entirely of previous winners was 1990. And you can watch that epic matchup between France and Spain tomorrow afternoon at noon Pacific on TSN, CTV, and Crave. And Wednesday's semifinal game between England and Argentina will also be broadcast live on TSN, CTV, and Crave at noon. The winner will move on for a chance to capture soccer's biggest prize. Well, one of the largest T-Rexes ever found is going to auction, and it's expected to fetch as much as $30 million. This is Gus, standing 12.5 feet tall and 38 feet in length. Sotheby's says it is one of the most complete T-Rex fossils ever found, but the specimen is less complete than previous T-Rexes that have been sold. The auction is tomorrow. That's, you need a lot of garage space for that T-Rex, right? A little bit beyond my budget, but pretty cool if you've got a dinosaur buff in your family, right?
Definitely neat.
Okay, we've got more T-Rex competitors who are chomping at the bit down in Washington State for an annual prehistoric sprint. Well, you don't need a horse in the race to get a kick out of this. In the final, the leader's inflated suit led to a bruised ego as an untimely tumble allowed another Rex to devour the competition, taking the title of T-Rex World Champion.
It must be so hot.
Oh, yeah.
Those costumes, though, when they first came out, you know, it's been a while, but they're just still gaining in popularity.
You can see why.
Yeah,
all sorts of uses, right? T-Rex races. Okay, just before we get to the Sawatsky sign-off, Lauren, what's coming up tonight on the late news?
Well, Mijang, we have a lot on tap on tonight's Park Board meeting, including voting on the proposed draft capital plan with hundreds of millions in infrastructure upgrades, including fixing up pools and community centers. And it comes as Mayor Ken Sim has an about-face on abolishing the Park Board, now saying it will stick around. And he also pushed for changes to the pool reservation system. So a lot on tap, and we'll be following it all.
All right, thanks, Lauren. While he may be retired, a man on Vancouver Island still has his work cut out for him. The former paragliding instructor is keeping busy rescuing animals far from home. Adam explains in tonight's Encore Sawatsky sign-off.
This is Luna.
Although his dogs are all different,
and this is Kilo, and then Nani.
Jason Biggins says they all have one thing in common.
All rescues. Yeah. As a kid, so I always had a connection with an animal.
As a kid, Jason also always dreamed of flying like a superhero.
And I can picture Superman saying that up and away and then just free, gone.
But it wasn't until he was in university and tried paragliding for the first time.
You feel like a superhero. It feels magical.
That Jason thought he'd found a way to realize that dream.
That just captivated me, and I was hooked for years.
For decades, Jason taught paragliding around the world. And during one of those trips, he and his wife rescued their first animal.
A starving pup came up out of the bush, and we scooped that pup up and brought her back to health.
Jason and his wife ended up living with 9 rescue dogs before someone suggested he combine his passion for animals with his passion for flying.
An idea of service, I think. It just seemed to fit.
So, when Jason retired, he earned his pilot's license, bought a family member's 7-year-old plane.
Wow, this thing climbs.
And volunteered to pick up wildlife in far-flung places before transporting them to animal rescue centers.
So I've got the seal pup on board, and we are looking good.
Because airplanes can fly in a straight line fast, a rescue that might take a day by land and sea can be accomplished in less than an hour by air.
That can be the game changer for an animal that's injured or, orphaned.
When Jason started getting so many calls to help, he launched a charity called Big to the Rescue and began sharing visuals of his passengers on social media, which have earned millions of views.
Nothing really cuter, I would have to say.
And nothing really better than this.
I'm present and I feel like I'm doing what I'm meant to do, and it feels great.
Because even better than learning to fly like a superhero is wielding that power to help like one.
Pretty special that I can help little critters.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, North Saanich.
The Sawatsky Sign-Off, brought to you by 1-800-GOT-JUNK. They make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Adorable. I wish the audience could have heard Lauren's oohs and ahs during this story.
He has the best job.
This is your dream job, isn't it? Rescuing animals?
I've got to learn to fly a plane, and then I can bring them everywhere.
That's a pretty awesome mission he gets to complete every day.
Amazing.
Yeah, not to mention enjoying the spectacular scenery when he's up there.
Yes, and here's a spectacular photo sent in by Gord Schubert from Maryhill, Ontario. If you'd like to send us your scenic snapshot, email us at scenicSnapshot@ctv.ca.
Beautiful. All right, that's all the time we have for CTV News at 6. Thanks for joining us.
Good night.
Good night.